Hi, everybody. Austin Siragusa here for MooseTV, joined by Daniel Fink, the play-by-play voice of your Manitoba Moose, here for a 2019-20 season recap of the Manitoba Moose. And Daniel, of course, the season didn't end the way I think anyone in the hockey world would have really wanted, but a number of stories to go over throughout the Moose season. And I think one of the biggest storylines that fans can definitely agree on is the emergence of Janssen Harkins this season.
Yeah, just because it was a 61-game season doesn't mean there's not lots for us to talk about and break down throughout the year. And like you mentioned, Janssen Harkins really did emerge as the great story for the Moose in the 2019-20 season. I mean, really, if you're looking at a player that really epitomizes that draft and develop model that the whole organization prides itself on, it's Janssen Harkins. Even leading into this season, if anyone had told folks that Janssen Harkins was going to go to the Jets in December and he would not return to the Manitoba Moose for the rest of the season, I don't think many people would have taken money, put down money on that bet. But he did it, and he did it through hard work, perseverance, and really just that consistent attitude that he has. He put in the work. He never cheated the game, never cheated the system. And you hear about Pascal Vincent, the coaching staff, talk about what he did to get to where he ended up. And it really is just a great example to give to young players, whether they're minor hockey players or professional hockey players, because it really does show you that when you put in the work, you can be rewarded.
And much like the 18-19 season, goaltending was another strong spot for the Manitoba Moose this season. You know, Eric Comrie, of course, had that whirlwind of a start of a season, didn't even get to start with the team, but the goaltending, again, was really strong for the Moose this season, too.
Well, yeah, it's definitely an advantage when you can roll with the goaltenders that the Moose eventually ended up with. And it really did hurt the Moose off the top of the season when they weren't able to rely on that 1-2 punch that they thought they were going to have with Eric Comrie. Of course, that got obliterated just before the season started when he was claimed on waivers and then went on to suit up for, he spent time on rosters, 3 NHL rosters, 2 AHL rosters, including the Moose. And the way he was playing when he came back to the Moose, he was posting career numbers in his 16 games with Manitoba. Well, luckily for the Moose, they were able to rely on Mikhail Burden while Eric Comrie was gone. It was a great experience for Burden, who got to play pretty much every night for a while there. So we really did see him emerge in that starter's role, and that amazing November he had when he won 10 games and was named the goaltender of the week throughout that month, picked up a couple of shutouts. He was absolutely dominant, so he really did show what he is capable of. So the Moose goaltending tandem was a real strong point, especially in the second half, and it's somewhere that they'll be looking to build off of into next season as well.
Now, call-ups are a big part of any AHL team. You know, it happens all the time between the NHL's Jets and the AHL Moose. And 14 players were on both rosters at some point of the season. That's got to be a big pat on the back for a number of these players with the Moose.
Well, yeah, it just shows how that tight relationship between the Moose and the Jets is so important, as it is for any NHL and AHL club. But I think we really saw it for the Jets this year, where they were able to cycle through a few different players, especially in the second half of the season. We saw guys like Andrei Chebysov go for a little bit. Kristian Reichel, though he didn't get into a game, went up. But really a whole group of players was able to contribute at the next level, and that's important for any NHL club when you can get those depth guys in, especially when some of them end up sticking, like Janssen Harkins and Sammy Niku spent the rest of the season up with the Jets as well.
It was another big year for rookies on the Moose roster too, and one of them that was really starting to turn it on near the end of the season was defenseman Liang Ivanka. What did you see through his progression this season?
It was really impressive, the tear he was going on at the end of the year. I mean, he just started picking up points like nobody's business. He actually, along with Kristian Reichel, they tied for the team lead in points after January 1st. So that's a rookie defenseman tied for your team lead in points through a 26-game segment. So that's pretty good from the youngster. He kind of took a little bit to find that offense, as you would expect any young defenseman coming in, and then he really seemed to find that range. That shot started to find the back of the net, and when he lets it go, he does have an absolute cannon.
You also mentioned Kristian Reichel, who near the end of the season was spending time on that top line with David Gustafsson and Kristian Vesalainen. That entire top line was really dominant near the end of the stretch there, but Kristian Reichel definitely broke out this season as well, too.
that line was a lot of fun to watch in the last few games of the season, when we saw Kristian Reichel being the elder statesman of that line at a mere 21 years of age. So you had Christian Vesalainen at 20 and David Gustafsson at 19, and they were running roughshod over some of the lines that they were playing against. They were productive. They were spending time in the offensive zone, and it was a lot of fun to watch those young guys just do their thing.
And while there were a number of fun moments on the ice this season, I think one of the most fun moments for Moose fans, and of course myself and maybe yourself too, was the retiring of Jimmy Roy's number 21 to the Bell MTS Place Raptors.
What a great night. I mean, for the whole 20th season celebration to really culminate in that event, it was a lot of work that got put in by the Moose staff off the ice. It really started even before this time last year to pull everything together, and it just really brought the whole season together nicely. And it was such a great moment, and knowing how much Jimmy means to this city, this organization, it was great to be able to honor him that way, and it clearly meant a lot to him and his family as well.
Moose fans, that's been your 2019-20 season recap. For Daniel Fink, I'm Austin Siragusa. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you back at Bell MTS Place very soon.